So here is a look at the first batch of questions from our practice assessment. So mostly, well, the answers are already in there, but this is to see, well, how can we get the answers for these things? So I'm going to open, actually I haven't downloaded the file, which I might do. I'm going to open a new spreadsheet. Okay, and I'm going to import that CSV file that we're working on. Donations, Labour Party. Okay, so we've imported the data. The first thing I'll do is right-click on this tab down here to duplicate it. And then I can double-click on the tab and give it a name. I'm going to call this D. I'm going to call this original. This just means that if for some reason I get something wrong on this sheet, sorry, if I get something wrong, then I have the original, and I can either check something or I can make another copy. I'm going to go to Edit, no, View, Freeze, One Row, and that will, that will freeze the top row for me. Okay, so these are the columns. All right, let's just look at the answers. Let's leave aside the questions about dodgy formats and also cleaning, which we'll come to. So question 1, how much money, as in, or how much value, if you like, was donated in 2023? Okay, so to do this, the first thing really you need to do before you tackle, or at least probably before you tackle the questions, is just review the columns to see what you have. So it's true there's a date here, but some of these columns mean nothing to us, others are really valuable, and here we have a column for year received and month received. Then there's another column with a date. So we are going to use a filter on this. We're going to go to Data, create a filter, and then we're able to 2023 clear and just select 2023. So now we've only got 2023, and we can go over to this figure of value and select all the numbers, and we get £30,557,160. Okay. Now, how did I do that? I put myself on the first row, and then I used command that will jump down, and command up with an arrow will jump up, but command and down arrow and shift, command and shift, sorry, I should say command and shift and down arrow will select all the things I need. Right, so now I've selected all of those, and I get a sum over here. Other things that you might have done, you might have said equals sum D2 to D1479. That's not going to work, I think. Yeah, that won't work because although we filtered, we haven't removed all the hidden rows. You could, if you really wanted to, you could copy that, you could paste it into another sheet, and then you won't have the filtered rows, and you could just take A1 and we get 30,557,000. That's a very long way round, but in case you were thinking that way, it's possible if you take it out of the sheet. How many donations have been recorded in 2024? Okay, so we've filtered for 2023. Now we need to filter not for 23 but 24. And so it's kind of the same question. We're just, rather than counting up all the values, we're just trying to do a count. We want to see if each row is a donation, how many donations are there? So it doesn't really matter which column you pick, because it's going to count them up. So you see if we ask in this column, how many rows are there now that we've filtered for 2024? There are 858. If you were feeling brave and you wanted to count the values rather than add them up, you could do it there. Obviously, it's going to do a lot of other things because it's got lots of numbers, but you don't want the sum, you want the count. 858. So that's how you do that. Who's the third biggest donor by number of donations? Okay, to do this, so let's turn off the filter, remove filter, and let's put in a pivot table because we need to compare elements. So we're going to we might have to compare years, we might have to compare donors, but we have to compare things, and that's not how the sheet is organized. So donor name, we'll put that into rows, and so now we have all the donors. So that's the crucial bit. Who's the biggest donor by number of donations? So this is a little similar to what we saw. We need to put something into the values, but we're not really interested in how much money or what the sum or the average is. We just want to know how many rows, basically. If each row is a donation, who's got the most donations. So it doesn't matter what column you put in. The only thing it's going to be able to do with it probably is count it. So the important thing for something this size is to be able to sort it the way you want it. Because even though you're used to sorting probably in the data set like this, where you can sort by clicking on the column, in the pivot table, you're going to have to go into this menu and sort not by donor name, alphabetically as it is at the moment, but by the count. And then you're probably going to want it to go in the other direction, not from small to big, but big to small. And so now we can see that Unison appears has 131 rows, if you like, made 131 donations. The third biggest donor by number of donations is GMB. Now, third biggest donator by total money given. So we're going to, instead of just counting up how many rows for how many donations, we're going to take the column called value, which is really what we're thinking about in terms of money, or the equivalent of, and we're going to put that in as the value. Now that's a little bit confusing to have a column called value going into values here on the pivot table. And we're going to summarize. We want total money given, so we want to just add them all up. So what we get is, again, we're going to have to sort them. Not there at the moment, they're sorted by name, sort by sum of value here, and descending. And the third biggest donor by total money given is Unison. Now, that's the first four questions. There is an issue with the where are the donors? Donor name. There we are. So if we sort the donor names from A to Z, so I know some people found this. And if we filter for, where is he? He's Mr. Gary, isn't he? Okay, this guy here. So let's get rid of everything and just keep Mr. Gary Lubner and Mr. Gary Lubner. You'll see that he appears in with two different spellings because they've put a double space here. The easiest way to fix this is to fix one and then to drag that over the others. And so now there should be one Gary Lubner, not two. So if you fix that, you may well have found that the figures change. So in case you did different, in case you did donor name, rows, the first thing we did was how many, count descending. So it's still Number of donations, third biggest is still GMB, looks like. But if we go to values and sum them and descend, we see that this guy has now appeared in third place. So that's also a correct answer. Okay, what's the value of a GMB donation on average? Okay, that's relatively simple. We just need to go to we just need to filter for GMB. So now we just have donations by GMB. If we select them all, well, we're told the count is 83. There's 83 of them, but we're also told the average is 51,407. So that is the size of a donation by GMB on average. There are 2,202 donations. What percentage are non-cash? Okay, so let's put everybody back in on this filter. This refers to donation type. Where's donation type gone? Donation type. I've gone past it. I know I have. There it is. Okay, so donation type, we're looking at non-cash. So let's filter and leave just the non-cash ones. And then again, we'll just select however many rows there are. We get 249. So we have 249 out of 2202. Now the quickest way to do that, well, we could either just do it in the sheet. So that would be 249 divided by 2202. And we'll get that, 0.1130, which means 11%. If you prefer reading it like that, you get 11.3. Or if you find the whole spreadsheet thing a bit of a handful for doing calculations, you can simply ask Google, if I have 249 divided by 2202, that's enough. You don't even need to put an equals in. It knows you're trying to do a sum, and it will do this for you. And then if you like, if you want to multiply by 100 to make it look a little cleaner, you get 11.3. So 11%. Question 7, excluding 2024, what month brings in the most money on average? Okay, so here we need a pivot table. We're interested in months, so we're going to put, we have a column for months. Here we go, month received. There we go, those are the 12 months, because they're numbered rather than named. What month brings in the most money? So we're looking for the money column in the value, excluding 2024. So we have to take the year column and put it into the filter so that we can remove 2024. And then rather than adding up for each month, we want the average. So I'm going to remove those decimal points so it's easier to read. There we go. So those are the averages for the 12 months. Again, we'll sort by the average and in descending order. So October, there we go, 59,000 on average is what comes in October. What 3 postcodes donated the most money? So that's very straightforward. We'll just throw everything out. We have a column for postcode somewhere. There it is. So that's how we want to organize things. What 3 postcodes donated the most money? So we will put the money column value in here as a sum. And then you'll see that there's in a way, the postcode that donated the most money was the one that didn't supply a postcode, but that's lots and lots of postcodes. So we can ignore that. We're looking for the sum descending. So it looks like SW1A, 0AA, followed by NW1, 2AY, then GL5, 3BY. What year brought in the least money in the first 6 months. Okay, so that's sounds a bit complicated, but what year? We're interested in years, so let's have years in the rows. And we're talking about money, so let's put the money column into values and add it up. Total money for each year. So what year brought in the least money in the first 6 months? Okay, so now we need to go to month received, and we need to filter it so that each year is only counting the first 6 months. So not 10 or 11 or 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not 7, 8, 9. Okay. And so they should all drop accordingly. Now, what's happened to 2021? 2021 is not 2021 is the answer. Now, I don't know why it's so low for the first 6 months, but that seems to be the answer. And then finally, what's the percentage increase of money brought in from 2022 to 2023? Okay, so we'll get rid of that filter. In fact, we'll just get rid of everything. Okay, so we're still doing years. Okay, we'll keep the years in the rows, and then we'll put the value in again. So we can see how much money came in 2022. We can see how much money came in 2023. What's the percentage increase brought in money brought in between that year and the other year? Okay, so the first thing is, well, what is the increase? The increase is the difference between the 2023 figure and the 2022 figure. Okay, so that's the increase, 9 million. So what is 9 million as a percentage of this? We can work it out. It's what we did earlier. We can say 9 million divided by 21 million, and it looks like 44%. Again, you can do that on Google if you want. So we'll round it up, or if you prefer, we'll multiply the whole lot by 100. 44.745%. And those are the answers.